to the bottom right in blue, we have the Terran player for Team MVP. It is, of course,
MVP KeeN.
has a 50% win ratio in best of threes against Zerg in Heart of the Swarm. Played only 4 so far though. Starting to the top left on Belcher Vestige, we have his opponent. This is the Zerg player for Team AZUBU. It is
AZUBU ViOlet.
Yeah, the most annoying thing that actually ever happened to me in such a situation is, you know how you have those power cable splitters there where you have then 3 plugs, and some of them have this this on and off thingy?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, those little red switches.
And back in Warcraft, like, I played a couple of matches on ladder and I had this sick game, and it was insane. Like, I played Undead back then, and I played against an Orc player, and at the beginning he pressured me so much, but I turned the game around and it was one of the sickest comebacks that I ever had. And like, I have him dead, okay? Dead in the waters. I'm just cleaning the map. I'm hunting his buildings down and everything. And because I relax, you know, I stretch out my legs and I lean back, and suddenly my entire PC just goes dark. And I'm like, oh my god. I actually hit that one power switch and turned my computer off. And I'm like, oh god, that didn't happen. I did not really just lose that game because of this.
That's like when you get out of your chair and you're like, well, I'm going outside for a while.
Yeah.
You're like, I gotta get away from this computer for a little bit.
That's the moment where you say, okay, I have to stand up and go somewhere else, or I'm gonna pull a QXC and I'm gonna just trash my keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta walk away. Drone Scout here will see the CC first, so he could try to go double hatch before pool, but takes a gas instead. And this SCV will actually have to run away. Oh, nicely done. I like how he can handle that.
Yeah, so he has the wall here set up, and with the CC first on the high ground, of course, also the added safety, unless you're up against a very, very early pool. And we have the gas already taken before we go into the spawning pool for ViOlet at the top left. Keep in mind that ViOlet is actually really good in this matchup. In Heart of the Swarm, offline, he has 83% win ratio against Terran, has defeated players like Sting, Daishi, Gumiho, and Thorzane.
Uh-oh. That was close.
Yeah, SCV with 5 hit points.
He has to make sure he rallies that. Oh, smart choice there.
Switches it. It's like, yeah, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. But as you said, yeah, he's got a great win ratio against Terran, and that's offline. So all those matches you're describing are all offline, and that's really, really hard to you know, judge online stats versus offline.
Yeah, it's a really important distinction that you have to make here, because offline stats are just so... It's so much... The environment that you are in is just so different from when you play online, and also you don't have to deal with lag issues, or your opponent doesn't have lag, because, I mean, we are approaching now an era where lag is not as much of a deal anymore as it was in the past. I can remember them back in the Warcraft days when we had the first Koreans play on the European server. They had like seconds of delay and were still able to win their matches, but these days it is usually playable. It depends a little bit on the hour of the day, can be quite bad. But it's getting better and better. But there will still be some lag that you have to deal with, and it's very different from when you are in an offline environment.
The pressure that's on you when you're in a booth in front of a crowd. I mean, the thing is, the offline environments are the same environment he's playing in right now. It's almost the same way as if you watch a player play in an online tournament. You want to look at his online stats versus his offline stats almost, because it's like that's the environment you're talking about.
And of course, the one thing to note is that even though we are in an offline environment here, we're still like online, but we're on the same server. So that's kind of the point that we're trying to make here. If you play cross-server, which is usually the case these days, if you participate in an online tournament or league, you have to play at some point cross-server, and that is where the lag comes into play. So the results have to be always... You have to distinguish between online and offline, I feel.
Definitely so. Well, a little bit of rescue mission here for these two Marines will save the SCV. I like that a lot. And during all of this, ViOlet, he started his speed, and he continues to mine with just one harvester in the extractor. So he's building up gas. Could be a big fall to this. He goes for a really fast lair before 6 minutes.
Yeah, going into this fast of a lair, he could really try to hit several timings here. Depends a little bit on what we're gonna see next. We have a lot of roach timings that work well on Belcher Vestige too. We've seen Mutalisk timings. They are not really all that common, just because the Terran player can quite easily defend against them when he gets with what's happening here. But we have him now with the armor reactor, so we're going into Hellbat. Smart choice.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of Hellbat success in all matchups, especially in Terran versus Terran recently, but KeeN very careful about making sure this is not Scout. He has Marine patrolling to the top. Does not want the Overlord to come in. The Overlord to the south, if he sacrifices it though, we'll be able to see it.
You know, back in Warcraft 3, we had a gentleman's agreement between players. Every time you would find a Tomb of Experience, you would actually not take it, but destroy it. So we could have the same in StarCraft. The Terran player suddenly agreed to not use Hellbats anymore. Don't think it will ever happen, but good old times, like
Yeah, we've had some funny things in certain balance times in StarCraft, like people doing rock paper scissors in PvP and things like that.
Well, we have the Spire tech, so he's really going for it. He's trying to hide it with the creep spread by the Overlord, so the scan will most likely not detect the Spire. Let's see how this works out for him.
Yeah, he didn't see the Hellbats, but he's preparing just in case. He has a bunch of spine crawlers up.
There's a fair chance that a Terran player is going to use Hellbats against you. And ooh, did he see the Spire?
I will double check that for you. I don't think
he was on the
ramp.
ramp.
He did see.
Okay.
Did he click on it? I mean, the Spire is pretty distinct.
Exactly. Why would you build, let's say, for example, a spine crawler over there?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense at all. So the Spire has kind of been scouted by now, and that's, of course, really unfortunate. He put it in a spot where the Hellions could just see it going up the ramp. And here comes already, of course, the engineering base. As soon as this is done, we should see the first missile turrets in the main base. And that's always a bit of a problem that you have when you're going into Mutalisk against a Terran player. You can shut down the drop play. And this is, of course, not simple Ling Muta Baneling. This is him trying to hit a little bit of a timing with the Mutalisk because of this fast attack.
Yeah.
But once that's spotted, it's easy to defend against it with Widow Mines, with missile turrets, and at least he should be able to shut down the drop play here, and that gives him safety.
Exactly. And I don't think the drops, however, of KeeN are going to do all too much damage because the pull here is really good. He's got such a good static defense up. He doesn't even kill very many Lings. The second drop is on the way, but it's going to take so long to get there. And the Mutas will actually probably intercept it and kill it because he has Overlords to spot too on the left side.
Yep, that was well done. I mean, that was really a good move that he made there. And now with the Mutalisk then on the map, he also has the safety to take this third base or to secure it. He's currently already building it, but you can really see that he sacrificed a little bit of economy to go into the Mutalisk this fast. We have him below in the Harvest account, or behind, and he needs to try to take that drop out. He didn't see the medevac just yet. The Overlord revealed it, but he doesn't react.
Now the drones start to get pulled here. A little bit late, but still very minimal damage done here. The medevac doesn't even get to pull any of the Hellbats out. The Meritas are coming into the main base. The turrets are ready.
Harvest has killed it totally by only 2, so amazing defense here by ViOlet, and he's moving into the main base right now, and apparently KeeN early on did not see that we have Mutalisks coming in. He has a lot of a lot of Widow Mines, but he didn't use them so far.
Yeah, he has a turret that's to the north of his base and a Widow Mine there. He didn't have anything to the bottom right. He also had a turret and some Widow Mines set as natural, but the Mutas took the right path. They flew right past everything.
That was for ViOlet a huge win. He needs to be careful since KeeN is going into the 1-1 upgrades already. The double evolution chamber has just now been started for ViOlet, so his upgrades will be behind for ground.
Yeah.
But he's taking this third base and he's starting to spread his creep, so for now he can control the map. He will have a very, very hard punch in the mid-game, but he needs to make sure that KeeN is not able to establish himself a third base and carries the game into the late game where he will have a huge lead in the upgrades, because that's when the Terran player with his army gets really scary.
Yeah, he starts to really take control of the map. He brings the Overseer here, but he doesn't have Overseer speed. It's almost just over halfway done, but without it, it's really hard to actually engage Widow Mines like that.
Yeah, it's the problem also, here comes the Overlord speed now, but the problem also being that he just doesn't have the DPS with the Mutalisk just yet to one-shot a Widow Mine, so that was a big problem for him here. He takes the hit, of course, with the regeneration, the Mutalisk will be back to full HP very soon, but for now, the harassment has been stopped. And now the army is moving out for KeeN, and this means that ViOlet has to prepare with Banelings. He's currently building them already, because the Mutalisks, they can't fight this at all.
Yeah, they're just trying to buy a little bit of time, make him turn around once or twice. He does have Baneling speed, it is complete, so these 6 Banelings are going to roll really fast into the army, but the question is, how good are the Widow Mine shots going to be?
And he needs more Zerglings. He's building 24 now. It's always the danger when you commit heavily to Mutalisks and your opponent is moving out with Widow Mines and Marines, because Mutalisks can't fight this head on. You need something on the ground to support them. And that's exactly what we see right now. The Banelings trying to make their way in, and immediately the Mutalisks also trying to close the distance, taking down at least a few of those Hellbats.
Yeah, some of the micro here from KeeN, a little bit questionable. He will actually chase back those Marines just barely. They all have 1-1. He needs to boost the medevacs away. Is he on cooldown? Yeah, he is. He's still on cooldown. Now it's ready, but he doesn't even use it. Loses everything. That was a great win there for ViOlet.
Yeah, he would have lost that one either way. The Mutalisks would have chased, but now we have a drop to the left side, and that has to be the saving grace here for KeeN, because if he doesn't do damage with this, he will fall farther and farther behind in this game. Losing all those medevacs is something that he just cannot afford. We talked about this in the past. You can replace Marines quite easily, but the medevacs alone cost so much gas that it's really difficult for you to make that happen. Yeah. And now, so much momentum for ViOlet here, going into the bottom left, trying to attack this third base.
Yeah, even one Ling doing some damage, and the rest of these units, when they come in, they're going to heavily enjoy the free hit points already taken from that Zerling. You know, I think this is a good attack by ViOlet, but if it doesn't work out, then this might get KeeN back into the game. It's all about the splits here.
KeeN is on 1-1 and heading into 2-2. He has a huge advantage in the upgrades, but this attack, as you said, it's something he has to throw back, because if he can't deal with this, then it's all over. The Banelings already connecting with the Marines. Great splits though by the Terran player, but ViOlet is absolutely relentless, moving in. He's losing his ground support on the other hand, and that's becoming an issue.
Yeah, the upgrades on the Marines, +2 is finished, +2 armor is almost done, and he just barely holds here, but now I would give KeeN a pretty distinct advantage now that 2-2 is finishing, and he's held his third base.
The fourth is now coming into play for ViOlet. He's currently building it, but you're completely right. In the last fight, we had a +2 attack upgrades and 1 armor against 0 on the ground, and that, of course, gave KeeN the extra damage that he needed to dish out against those Zerglings. Banelings being morphed now once again. The Zerg player has completed 1-1 from Zerglings.
The Wings, or rather the Mutas, coming in here into the main base doing some extra damage. Do fly away. Just trying to be annoying. And, you know, the fourth base here is so key. ViOlet needs to not only get his drones over there, keep it alive for a while, make it work for him, so he can catch up on the upgrades, get that further tech out. There's the infestation pit.
Yeah, but he really needs to make... The problem is right now for ViOlet that he really needs to KeeN in his base, and that's what the Mutalisks are for. If he cannot achieve that, then his fourth base and his tech right now will be an overextension, and he's going to lose quite a lot because of it. He's trying to make it happen right now, though, pressuring his opponent over and over again. A hit on the Mutalist, there's so many of them, they could actually fight those Marines there, not a lot left.
Yeah, not a whole lot left. He could actually just commit, and he does. This is so good for ViOlet right now. A few more Marines will chase these back, but he's just keeping them in his base. Like you said, he's trading really, really efficiently. I mean, the units lost are actually 2,000 so in favor of ViOlet right now.
The third base is a little bit exposed since the Mutalisks are driving this wedge between the natural and the third base, but we have 3-3 on the production tab for KeeN. He already has a significant lead in the upgrades. If he gets 3-3 out and has medevac support, that's going to be lights out for ViOlet. He needs the damage to do the damage now while he can.
Yeah, and don't forget, ViOlet just now started his 2-2, so he's already a whole cycle of upgrades behind and then some. And here comes the drop in the main base. ViOlet's Mutas and his Zerglings far away. How much damage can he get done? He goes for the spawning pool.
It's a little bit surprising that he's able to sneak those medevacs in the main base, given the Overlord spread that we have for ViOlet. He doesn't really see it on the map. He was occupied with his own attack, losing the spawning pool. High tech is on the way. Pool immediately being rebuilt, and the Mutalist moving in to save the day.
Yeah. Gets the extractor as well, just a minor annoyance. Gonna affect his gas income.
The fourth is now set up for ViOlet, so he at least has the better income, and he can try to chase these units back. But in overall supply, we are still on the same level, and the upgrades, I have to say it again, for KeeN, this is exactly what he's relying on. Trying to occupy his opponent, trying to keep him busy until he has the final upgrades, until he has the medevac support that he needs, and then moving out. And the longer this game progresses, the better it's going to be for KeeN.
Yeah.
ViOlet at least has now the high tech, so he can go in 3-3, but he needs so much time to do it.
Exactly, and the attacks are relentless. And, you know, this is never ideal as a Zerg player is going for mutiling Baneling, especially when you have this many mutas. He has 14 mutas on the map, and still he's struggling to deal with the drops. That's not ideal. KeeN is just really starting to test his multitasking right now. Good split on the Marines. Will he get the Widow Mines down? That's the question.
Banelings on the move already. Most of the Widow Mines are gone, but there are so many Marines still left. They're clustering up. The Widow Mines say bye-bye, and here come the rest of the Banelings, aided by the Mutalisks. But now that the Banelings are gone, the Mutalisks have to get out of there.
And the 3-3 is done, Kaldor. Well, the armor's nearly done, and look at the supply advantage for KeeN, who continues his drops, goes in the main base, will kill the extractor once again, and a few more drones. While the Mutas come back to the main, he's going right for the fourth base.
He has so many minerals, and I realize, of course, that he wants to go into Ultralist, and therefore he needs to have a little bit of a bank. But with all these drops that are happening in the main base, Spine and Bone Crawlers would really go a long way.
Absolutely so. Well, this maybe lights out for ViOlet. He's lost his fourth base. The third base is under heavy pressure. KeeN way up in supply. He's about to have that upgrade for the Widow Mines as well. The Ultralists are the last card in ViOlet's hand right now.
And keep in mind that the Ultralists shine as soon as we have bundles, and bundle is just not there yet. And also the upgrades are still in favor of the Terran player. So KeeN with a really good move. You're also taking his fourth base. This gives him an outpost to the left side of the map where he can set up his planetary that we see right now. Makes it a little bit harder for ViOlet to actually engage. He has to go through the planetary, and if KeeN identifies the threat early on, he can position his army accordingly.
Yeah, he already kills this base, and once you kill the Ultralists once, I mean, they're not going to be coming back.
Dead.
Yeah, they're dead, man. You know, there's no on the third day they rise again for the Ultras.
There is no Death Knight with the ultimate in this game for an undead player, for the third player. We don't have the animation just yet. Once you die, you're dead.
Oh, he's not even going to be able to get KeeN's plating here.
Ah, that was a good snipe. And it just emphasizes my point again. The defense in the main base, it is very lackluster. And we also, I cannot understand why ViOlet is actually not sending units over there once he sees the medivacs. He must be so busy, so occupied with the macro game right now, and multitasking, that he doesn't really pay attention to the minimap.
Yeah, he looks flustered for sure. Ultras here need to get the good heads off, but there's just too much of a concave. There's no link support anymore. The Widowmine's getting the shots they need.
And they don't have the upgrade, the armor upgrade that they desperately need. It's really a tough game for ViOlet now. So many drops. A lot of them, he misses them, he cannot get the units into position, then the Ultralisk Cavern gets sniped before he lost his spawning pool, he lost the upgrade, and this is of course a big problem. If you have Ultralisks on the map, you want them to be this unkillable unit, this immortal Zerg unit that you can just send in, ideally with Infestor and Queen support for Fungals and Transfuse, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. All these Widowmines here, nice pickoffs, but they still got their shots off. And if he gets that shot off on the Ultras, so well done here. Ultras do not get the armor against Widowmines, and they're only at +2 armor. No KeeN's plating, no +3 armor, and KeeN, he's pushed back here, but he has so much pressure on the map, he's going to take out ViOlet's third base.
Starting to the top right, he's just cleaning house now, and the Ultralisk, they're trying to move in, but we have even 2 bunkers set up so you can snipe with the Ultralisk. Some of them are really badly injured, and they will go down in a flash. It doesn't look good for the Zerg player here. He's just losing too much. His economy is already in shatters.
Yeah, it's just a few more Marauder shots on each of these Ultralists to clean them up. The ones in red health, the ones in green, they're not going to be able to do it alone. The Natural is now in tatters, and KeeN, he's spent all of his resources, but he's just walking across the map to end it.
Yeah, KeeN is doing a great job, and it's just what we talked about earlier. If you pressure a Terran player but you can't do enough damage, then at some point it's gonna get back at you. The upgrade lead was just too big. Once the 3 was there, he did a great job moving in and taking, just running with his advantage and taking down base after base, and he did that very well. So right now we have 5 bases for KeeN, we have only 2 bases left for ViOlet. Things are not looking good for the AZUBU starting player.
Yeah, definitely not. At this point, he's desperately got one army that is strong, but it's not strong enough to turn the tide of this game. He's going to clean up part of this army, but once KeeN gets the rest of his reinforcements all together, as he does now, he should be able to pick off the Ultras one by one. And even if this army dies, ViOlet has a long way to go to rebuild his economy. He's on 1 base right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's on one mining base. He's losing everything. Down to 70 supply against 140. This is game. The last few Ultralisks, they die, and
GG. Great game by KeeN.